Welcome back to the Dundiggin Allotment. It's Saturday the 18th of May. It's a fairly overcast day today, so we're hoping for a bit of rain later on to help with watering. It's still quite dry and all the plants could do with some more rain. So hopefully we'll get that later on. What have we been doing for the last 2 weeks? Mainly a bit of decoration, as you can see from our nicely painted green gate. And a bit more planting. Got a few more things out of the greenhouse into the ground as soon as the sun had gone in, so they didn't dry out straight away. We've planted quite a few new plants into their final resting positions. So I'll give you a quick tour of what we've done so far and what we're hoping to do today. As you can now see, we've been decorating the allotment with a bird scaring tape, some playpen balls that we got from our local charity shop. We got 100 for £1, so that ideal to go on top of the bamboo canes, stop us poking our eyes out. We've also got some luxury seating from our local council tip, so we managed to pick up 4 garden chairs for 50p each that were in the rubbish pile due to be recycled, but we thought we could use them down here, so that's quite handy. We've got the amazing bean arch still going strong, held up with the last lot of windy weather, so hopefully that will be okay once it gets plants up it as well. Planted our tomatoes at the bottom of those, put in plastic bottle watering system, so we just pour the water into them to feed the soil rather than have it all sit on top. We've moved our courgettes out of the greenhouse into the hugel bed, so that's a bit of an experiment because we don't know how well that will go, whether it's actually rotted down enough to provide the food that they need. But they're still alive so far. They've been out a few days now, so hopefully that'll work. We'll keep an eye on them and give them some food if we think they need it. We've emptied up the strawberries. Got quite a few flowers on those, so hopefully get some fruit. Luckily they all survived the frost. We put a fleece over them and cover them in grass, help protect them. The spare brassicas have been planted into this area without the aid of any protection. Hopefully I can knock something up to give them a little cage to keep them safe from the cabbage whites, but so far so good. They don't seem to be bothered by any pests at the moment. Inside the brassica cage now. Surprised at how healthy everything's looking. Everything seems to be getting on okay here. As you can see, the snowball turnips are growing along quite nicely. Most of them are all about golf ball size now, so they seem to have settled in okay. The mystery brassicas, a few of them were put cardboard collars around to help protect them against the pests. Others we've just left to their own devices, so we'll see if it makes any difference having the cardboard around or not. As we said before, everything this year is an experiment, so we're trying lots of different things just to see which work and which ones don't. We planted a few bulbs of garlic in here as well. That started to show through. Did hear that might keep some of the pests away. We've also moved in a couple of pots of mint, which are supposed to deter flea beetle. We'll find out if they do or not. The sick bed, still doing okay. Not as good as the other bed, but not had too many look too sick on us. We switched one out today as we had a spare. But apart from that, everything else seems to be coping okay. broad beans have all come into flower nicely. They weren't affected by the frost at all. We're not sure if they're a little short or not. Can't remember if they're dwarf broad beans or whether they're just always this height. So it'll be interesting to see if they get any bigger. But plenty of flowers on, so maybe we'll get some beans. We lost one of the pea plants, but the other three seem to be surviving. And we've planted some swede along these strings. We're not sure of it. How could that be a swede appearing? Or is it a weed? Now, working on the basis that we have similar types of weed, all following this piece of string, they could be swedes. That could be a result. Our leeks seem to be taking quite well in the outside bed. Unfortunately, no sign of carrot or parsnip at the moment, or nothing that we're sure that's one of those. Lots of little leaves keep popping up, but we're pretty sure those are weeds. The purple sprouting broccoli at the end seems to be doing quite well, so it's obviously a little bit further behind than the plants that we grew in the greenhouse, but it's doing quite well. I guess we'll have to thin those out and move them into other places. Thornless blackberry isn't looking too healthy. Seems to have got some sort of burn damage on the leaves, but bearing in mind we're surrounded by wild brambles around here, I should think it'll pick up. Everything else seems to do okay around here, bramble wise. By contrast, the tayberry, which we got, I think from the pound shop, somewhere like that, seems to be doing really well. So we're very pleased with that one. And here is our latest weird and wacky experiment. We're hoping to turn this into a mini tomato house. The steel poles we got from a party tent we got free on the free cycle. We've also got all the panels for it as well, some of which have got windows in. So we're hoping to use clips onto the metal pipes and clip that in place and make it into a mini greenhouse. This side, for an experiment, we've planted the tomatoes into free flower buckets that we got from Morrison's. They've got drainage holes at the bottom. And we've also put plastic bottles in for watering, act as little reservoirs. The other side of the tomato house we might just plant directly into the ground, just as an experiment to see which one works best, or whether there's any difference to planting them in the containers or straight into the ground. We'll keep you updated on that later on in the year.
Ta-da! Our first turnip.
Well, that's a quick roundup of where we are so far. We've done a few other little jobs since we've been up the allotment today. We've just finished off adding some more slats to the compost heap and putting a front on so that hold the compost a little bit better. We've put the new bean structure up. So what have we got left to do on the allotment in the coming weeks? We've got about 6 to 9 squash on the grow in the greenhouse because we planted a few too many because we thought the first lot had failed. So for that reason I've had to dig over an area that we were going to leave sort of fallow this year. We'd covered it with cardboard and a tarpaulin just to keep the weeds down. We were hoping not to have to do anything with it, but as we've got all these squash, I've decided to give it a dig over, get as much weeds and grass out as possible, and then that's going to be a plant it and see squash area. Hopefully they'll keep the weeds down for us and maybe produce something at the end of it. Our sweet corn have arrived, so we're going to do a two sisters area in one of the corners of the allotment. So we'll plant squash around the edges and a block of sweet corn in the middle. And we've just got more tomatoes to bring down, more leeks to bring down, more brassicas to bring down if you believe it possible, more peas to bring down, and some more dwarf French beans to bring down. So a lot of the area that we had designated as paving around the outsides, we're lucky that we're the end plot, so we'll take up the plastic that we've got acting as a weed suppressor at the moment, plant into that area, and then walk around the outside of our fence to tend to the plants. So we'll gain an extra bit of space that way. And we've suddenly worked out we need another gate at this end of the plot, which is where the water supply is, because at the moment we're having to keep hop over in a wire fence, and it's a bit like a comedy show when there's a wire fence and somebody with 2 buckets of water trying to get over it. So far we've not had any mishaps, but it's only a question of time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the update for this week, and you'll subscribe or make some comments about how we're getting on, or any suggestions as to what we should be doing. And as a teaser for the next episode, what will I be trying to make out of 54 empty plastic bottles? I can see next time. Anyway, hope you're having the lovely weather that we're enjoying, although to be quite honest we would rather it be raining for a few days, but at least it's nice and fine and we can get out and get all of the structural jobs done. So once again, thanks for watching, hope to see you next time.